Okay, now I am going to try some of the heavier stuff. These are my two go-to threads. They are both UV resistant bonded polyester. This is roughly a Tex 70, where this is a slightly heavier Tex 90, and that's normally about as heavy as you want to use on a domestic sewing machine. With the lighter thread, I generally run a number 12. This heavier stuff is better suited to a 18. I might go down as low as a 16. I might go as high as a Tex 120 or 130 with the 18 needle. One of the things you always seem to hear when you have a vintage machine is, wow, will it stitch leather? Well, yeah. I mean, leather comes in different weights. If you want to stitch thin glove or garment leather, you can do that on just about any domestic machine. But what they actually mean is, will it stitch something like holster or harness leather? And as far as I'm concerned, that whole thing is beside the point. I mean, I'm heading for the tropics. The tropics are not leather friendly. Back when we were all messed up in the Vietnam War, one of the first things we discovered was that the jungle will rot leather boots right off the feet of the troops, and if you don't issue them enough clean dry socks, it will rot their feet off in the process. We actually developed a special jungle combat boot that was made out of nylon mesh and could get wet and would dry out again fairly quickly and would let people's feet breathe. So I'm more concerned is, will it stitch webbing? This is seatbelt webbing. In this particular example, we got two layers here that are really, really crusty. I don't think the person who owned that particular wreck was guilty of excessive quantities of bathing. So we will see what we will see. Back this up just a little bit. Here. So, alright, top stitch is way too loose. Okay, that is not locking up as tightly as it needs to. Perhaps a little too much drag there. Tighten her down. Good and solid. And crank her through by hand a couple of tries. Okay, that's through 2 layers of seatbelt webbing, straight stitch. Four layers of seatbelt webbing, which is pretty much max. Fit under the presser foot, you can see it doesn't have a whole lot of drop there. There we go. I suppose it would have been nicer if I could use a contrasting thread. But that's full bite zigzag. So, I don't have a lot of experience with the treadle, and it probably needs a heavier flywheel to make the best use for heavy stitching. So I dropped this thing into the servo table. That, folks, is 5 layers of Tex 90 thread, or I should say Tex 90 thread through 5 layers of seatbelt webbing. It looks like we're having some tension issues here. Let me run that through again. Let's see, it came down this way, went back this way. Oh hell, just to be sure. Okay. Alright, so she's stitching good. This is where I hand cranked it through just to get that first seam to hold stuff in place. So, if it will do straight stitch, let's try a little zigzag. Well, there you are. 5 layers. All that I can wedge under the presser foot. And she just powers on through. The zigzag is not as wide as it should be because it was kind of dragging it back and forth on the dogs. But yeah, I have no complaints at all.